Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let me fix this a little bit. Here we go. All right. So, who do we have here? Nobody? All right, then. I'll have a piece of bagel till you guys get ready. It's a good bagel. Cinnamon raisin. Toasted. Yummy. I think it's not the right time, Ash. I think they're in North America. Probably they're all sleeping. Europe it's too early, and India it's work day. So might as well we'll just have some tea and a bagel, and then we'll go back to work. It was good that I tried different times, so I get a clear understanding of what times people are available. Looks like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and through the weekend. Friday night, Saturday noon and night, Sunday noon and night is the most popular. Hmm. Yeah, and there was a time that I was having two live stream a day. That was like 2 years ago when the COVID had just started. I think that was the time that you and I got to nobody could go out. People were kind of was it? Oh, really? Is it any better? Can you hear me now? Really? You can't hear anything now? You're sure you don't have anything up your ears? Oh, so you can hear me. All right, then. So let's repeat what we were saying. I said, I said, it's good that we do it different hours, so we kind of get to know which days and hours work for people. Uh, People in here, North America, are sleeping probably at this time, and in Europe it's too early, and India is middle of the workday, I guess. So nobody is. So it's you and I can have a chat for a few minutes. I have a bagel and a tea, and you eat your stuff, and the way we go. But it looks like Friday night, Saturday during the day and night, Sunday during the day and night is the most popular ones. Ash says I have genius between my ears. At least good that you have genius. I think I've got shit between my ears. Well, they can't reach. The Iranians can't reach, can't tune into YouTube. Apparently, as I've understood, in Iran, they have to have a special filter to break the block that the government has put on YouTube. It's funny. YouTube itself is so closed up that I'm shadow banned for the stuff that we discuss. And the Iranian government has actually banned YouTube. Yes. Mhm. The only thing that is apparently open in Iran is Instagram, which I have opened the channel on Instagram and TikTok. See, this is all my channels. I don't know. I should hold it like this. TikTok and so on. Yeah, lots of channels, and they all have something in common. None of them are successful. None of them get the views because somehow everywhere I'm blocked. We've got 3 people. Oh, I spoke too soon. 2 people online. And I think that's me and you. I went to the gym tonight, but wasn't feeling it because last night and the night before I did good workout. So I kind of felt like I don't need to work out tonight. I just did some light cardio on treadmill. Boring, but was watching TikTok while walking, and that was it. Ash says, "How heavy do you think the cardio is for African tribes members running away from the lions? So they don't do that anymore. They're in jeeps and Cherokees and Land Rovers. It was you're talking about 100 years ago, but then it was a real good cardio because the heart was pumping up because of the anxiety and fear, and then adrenaline was kicking in, fight and flight was kicking in, and you're running as hard as you could to save your ass. So there was no intermittent running then. It was forever running. Says imagine being says imagine being one of those African guys, no time for HOCD, no time for any bullshit. Just run for your life. You see, that was a natural refocus. They'd be refocusing on something positive as soon as any intrusive thought shows up, and that is survive, run, and survive. So, Ash, looks like we have a. Well, it says the ability to think is nice, but it's not always a good thing, as proven on this chat. Yeah. I sometimes wish never we revert back to survival mode. Yeah, well, yeah, life would have been easy. The other advantage would have been we wouldn't have so many smart asses turning the world into slavery with their money and financial institutions, which is all a hoax. They are lending money with the money that they don't even have. They just write up a number out of thin air and they loan it to other people by paper, and the people have to work their buns off to pay it back real money. So these people get rich doing nothing just because they had a deal with some bastard at those time or some world organization, and they said we're going to put the banking system. It's a big hoax, and they became billionaires by sitting on their asses and do nothing. And you know who they are. The whole world is in some kind of a bullshit, believing into that there is actually accountability, all these taxes and all that, printing money, jackasses, and doing whatever they want to do. Ash says everyone here currently Feel free to ask your question. Yeah, that's right. Feel free. There's no one here. There's no one here. Says we just hit a record number of 4 viewers, but one left. Yes, we lose them by the minute. Just Mike is here. It says male 35 Germany. Ah, wie geht's? Wie geht's heute? He says, I was offered a job at a as a project manager. I would need to move to an area where rents are very high. I worked as an engineer, CAD design. Ah, maybe you can do some work for me. I had a CAD designer from the freelance, and in the middle of the work, he just got busy. My project was a small project, and he never completed it. So I can't have it 3D printed to see if it works or not. But anyhow, let's see. It says for the past 6 years, salary stays the same. I can't decide where or not to take that job offer or not. Well, listen, it's very simple. They have a need for that location, but that location is going to cost you more. That means you're actually getting not demoted, but not a raise, and you're getting deducted in your raise because your cost of living. Negotiate with them if they can give you living expenses or car expenses or something that you can have a subsidy because of the cost of living, rent, and everything else is more expensive in that area. If they agree with it, well, if it's a promotion, why not? If you like the area, you like the town, if you like the new kind of things to do, it's a new experience, okay. But if they don't agree to give you the living expense, the difference between how much rent and everything costs here, food and so on, and transportation, and how much it costs there, then you should simply respectfully decline, provided that you're not going to lose your job where you are. So if that is not this or that, and it's just that if you want, and if you don't want, don't, then don't. You're sitting there, no moving cost, your routine is the same, and the cost of rental is the same. You don't have to look for a rental place. Everything is the same. Unless they give you like maybe 1.25 more, at least, there's no reason. What's the advantage for you to go there? So you can't be financing the company that's hired you. They want you to go and take care of that place. Well, that means you're going to have to pay more to live there, which is to make it possible for them to hire you, to send you there. You're supposed to shell out more money out of your own pocket to afford living there, which means you're financing your own employment for them, and they're going to be benefiting. So I wouldn't take it. Maybe your ego says, "Oh, I've been hired a job, offered a job, such and such place." So who gives a shit? The money is not enough. So don't, if that's the way. I would like to know, where are these 7 people who are watching from? So why don't you guys just let me know where you're tuning in from, which city. Just Mike says, my current job caused burnout a couple of years ago, but now I've worked on myself and learned to deal with the toxic people. I like CAD design. My ex-fiance asked me to get a new job because I was depressed. If you like CAD design, just stick with CAD design. Just find a better job, better paying job. Because maybe the reason you were burned out because you were working hard and not getting enough money for it. But if you were working hard and been getting making lots of money, you would hardly burn out because then you could afford to take some time off and relax and enjoy the things that you like to enjoy and be fine. But if you're an expert in that, then you don't want to switch and start something new, and you start at the entry level when you get a job in that something new. Great Jedi Serena is here. Says, I'm from Texas. Thank you, Serena. It's been a while since we saw you here. Always glad to see you back. Well, we kind of spontaneously decided, I mean, I decided to have a maybe a live stream. I've been having a live stream every night, past few nights, and consistently, as Ash mentioned. And Friday nights, Saturday during the day, and Saturday nights, Sunday during the day, and Sunday nights, uh, it gets pretty good. Tonight, we're just trying to see if Monday night is any good for live stream. Probably not, because because in North America mostly are sleeping, maybe are about to sleep, and Europe it's too early for them, and India is working. Just Mike says thank you, Mira. You're quite welcome, Mike. Serena says been working a ton and about to quit my job. What do you do, Serena? Because they are trying to get rid of me when I have given my heart and soul to that job. Be careful. If you quit your job, you won't get the severance. And you may not be entitled to some of the things that you would otherwise be entitled to. So let them fire you. And then they would have to pay you what's coming to you. I'm sure you got laws and regulations. Check that out before you make any kind of a, measure to deep rooted in your ego. And I understand that, and you have all the right that you've worked so hard, and these assholes don't appreciate you. And the immediate response for us would be, "How dare you?" And I'll quit. But if that is really what they're trying to do, even if it's not what trying to do, but they're not appreciating you, when you quit, you kind of give them a little bit of a bonus, or you give them a freebie by not having them obligated to give you the severance pay or separation papers or money, what's by law is coming to you. Again, I don't know the law in that state, but you might want to check it before you make any decision like that. And before you do that, you line up another job, and then you start talking with other places. But don't let them call you at this place to check on your record. Just study where other places you might want to go. But as soon as they kind of give you the pink slip, which you should wait until they do, and you get your what's coming to you as your right, then do your interviews and see where it goes. Serena graciously has treated the channel to $10. We appreciate the support, Serena. Serena says, I meant to send that as a super chat. I'm a bakery shift leader. Yummy. I just had a nice cinnamon raisin roll, bagel, and I toasted it and it was crunchy and I enjoyed it. I used to have so much pastry, delicious pastry, especially the cream puffs, and there's specialty uh, Persian pastry stores all around here. And sometimes for months and months and months or years, I never had pastries because I'm on a strict trying to, keep fit and all that. So I don't take sugar at my age. I watch everything. But I got sick like a few months ago. I think maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe. And I got so weak after I recovered, I just wanted sugar stuff. So I would go and buy a box of dry pastries or sometimes those creamy ones. Oh, I had like 3 or 4 cream puffs. They're just specialty of that country. I remember when I was a kid, the cream puffs were like this big. Like I'm talking this big, so much cream in it, and just cut it in half. And oh God, that was delicious cream. Anyhow, let's get back. And she says there is no 401 health insurance, just a paycheck. Been at the job for 1 year and 3 months. Ah, okay. Specialty work, so I'm sure you can find a job anywhere. But if you really want to quit and you're not going to get any severance pay, I don't know what 401 is there. I've heard Americans talk about it a lot, but maybe eventually, if I ever get the chance to move back to United States where I went to school, I'd know about 401. But the way it looks like it, this country has gone to hell. It is moving toward communism, and I don't like it. And unless we vote the government out and get a decent government whose policies are in line with the policy of the most North American people, capitalism and being able to be free and make your own decisions about everything and everything. This country's gone to shit with the prime minister that we have, sold us all out to WEF. And the globalists are coming, and I'm not with it. I don't like it. I like freedom, and I like law and order. I like Charter of Rights. I like a good constitution. You guys have a good constitution, American Constitution. We should adopt that. All right. Now she says there's no 401 health insurance, just a paycheck. Been at the job for 1 year and 3 months. Yeah. Okay. All right, then. As I mentioned, you're a specialist in what you do, and these type of specialities, I don't think you'd have a problem finding any job, in that field anywhere. That's the good news. Ash says, Maron, I know you've been in the army, studied martial arts. I'm just wondering, although you're a cool dude, have you ever been forced to kick someone's ass? Uh, well, what comes to mind is a simple thing. I was here. I'd immigrated to Canada, and I was just, I don't know, 35, 40 years, maybe 40, 42 years ago, maybe. I was in a bus stop from downtown coming to North Shore, and I saw some young lady crossing the street, and some drunk guy is after her. And he was getting close to her. She started running, and she came and hit right behind me, between the wall and me, just right behind me. And I had no choice but protect her. And so I got the guy, downed him in a second, and told someone to call the police. And when the police came, the police officers, one of them was a lady, one of them was a man, and she said, "So you did the citizen arrest?" I said, "Yeah, I did the citizen arrest," because he was about to get his hand on this lady. So anyhow, she stuck with me on the bus until I got to North Shore, and I said, "Okay, you can go now." But in the revolution, it was pretty tense sometimes, because it was a scene, actually. People were making cocktail Molotovs. Ladies in the side of the street were cutting soaps and grading soaps and mixing it with bottles and so on. I guess we can't talk about these things, so I don't want to exactly say what they're doing, and mixing whatever they were mixing, because they were fighting against the soldiers, and just in case they would come at them. And the revolution was taking place, and we had helicopters running on, and it was a weird situation. It was a memorable but dangerous situation. Um, yes, actually, I now go back to the once the revolution took place, we weren't satisfied with the government, religious government at the time. It was the beginning of the revolution, and it was a mishmash. So it was a demonstration, organized demonstration, and people were peacefully demonstrating, and suddenly, I don't know, hundreds of thugs with bricks and batons and things started throwing at peaceful people who were demonstrating. So the fight broke up, and we had to get the women and children away behind us, and there was a fight. And apparently, I was fighting with three people. I didn't know. I mean, they told me, and I remember I was running after them, and then while I was bending over to pull one's leg up, and I got hit hard with some kind of a metal beam or some kind of a rod. I don't know what it was on my back. And then when we they all ran away, and I saw my elbow in front of my eyes actually puffed up just like that. Just I could see it. Poof. So holy shit, that went down. And then I went home, take a shower, and I was just trying to do what you do, and just suddenly all the lights went dark, and I just lost a little bit of balance to the wall because I happened to touch where it was hit. So a few days later, I went to the hospital to check, and they took an X-ray and everything, and the doctors were a friend of our family, and they said, have you seen these pens that they have a little dealie like this? This does nothing but holds it in your pocket. This little thing here. I said, okay. He said, every vertebra is a shape of round like this with a tail that is protecting this round disc. Says your tail is cracked a little bit. And the first thing I said was, so when can I go horseback riding? Because I was a rider. He said, oh, just a few weeks, it will heal by itself. Nothing happened to any of the on a on the actual discs or vertebrae. Just this got all the protected it. So sure enough, I didn't have to, lay down or anything. Just healed by itself. So that was it. One of the memories. There were other times, but that was the adult times. Yeah. It was a long story, wasn't it? Now you're sorry you asked, yeah. Ion 18M Perry, 18 male Peru. Says, hi, Sarah. Hello there. Says, can I change my goals? Do you need a permission to do that? Are they your goals or somebody else's goal you want to change? If it's somebody else's goal, you got to ask them. If it's your goal, well, who made them for you? You made them, so you can change them anytime you want. Says, I was following a goal, but now note that it is not taking me somewhere and is slowing me down. I need your opinion, sir. Well, you know, it's quite of a responsibility to put on my shoulder to make a recommendation on the goal. Especially, you seem to be so quickly changing your mind because on the other question you were 18 male Peru. On this question you're 19 male Peru. I wonder if that's the speed you change your goal. I'm in trouble. No matter what I say, you're gonna want to change it. So so what was the goal that you want to change it? I don't know your circumstances. I don't know how much of that goal you have accomplished. I don't know what it needs. I don't know what kind of education you have. I don't know what your plans for education is. I don't know what education it needs. I don't know what it entails. And I don't know what the new one entails. So you can see it's a little bit challenging for me to know. And if you like to talk to me one on one, you're welcome to go on my site, mind@sixtruth.com, and make a, I don't know, maybe half an hour appointment, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one on one on Skype, so it can be interactive and I can ask you a question and you can tell me stuff and we can have that. But here, if you can ask it, that would cost you nothing, and you can go ahead and give me enough information so I can make a short comment. I can't make a long consultation here, but I can do my best with the time that we have available. My site. And Ash says, that's badass. Nice story, man. Okay. This is glad you haven't been in too many scraps. No, yeah, I was in the military in the peacetime, so there was no, but we had good training. As I think I liked military. That was like, I don't know, somehow my style, I guess. I don't know. I enjoyed it because before that in university, I was in Aikido, and Aikido had severe discipline as far as it was like a samurai training, so to speak, that mentality, or maybe that was my mentality. But I enjoyed that discipline, and therefore, military was easy for me, while it was not so easy for others. I know my friend, my best friend, we were, just our bunks were side by side, was these double decker bunks. In the military, you sleep in these things, and God bless his soul, he died, but he's he was a funny guy. We loved him. We loved him to bits. He was a great guy, good guy, nice guy. But he was funny and he was undisciplined. He didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit. And I say that again. He didn't give a shit. So we would get up in the morning preparing for the march because he wouldn't be on time, and we didn't want him to go to jail every weekend because he hadn't gone home. Every Thursday night they would let us go and we'd come back on Friday night. That was the holiday for the week over there, and he hadn't gone home for 6 months for I don't know, a few months. So every time he would do something and he would be in he would be in prison for the weekend. So one day we were all sent out. The buses, military buses, came and took us to outside shooting with our rifles. We were using G3 German rifles, automatic, semi and automatic rifles, and they were just great rifles. So we were on the field at 300 yards, and so all the soldiers were lined up, lying on the ground. And so the colonel would announce when we start shooting. So when they distributed the bullets, we each got 6 bullets, and he was laying right beside me. I said, "Okay, you've been in prison, and you're going to end up in prison again today because you can't shoot. So give me your bullets." So he gave me his bullets. I put my magazine full, 6 for me, 6 for him. So I shot mine, and then he was right beside me, so his target was just one to the right of mine. So I shot for him. And for the first time, he passed. He passed, and he was able to go home that weekend. And when he came back, he said, "Oh, Meron, I ate my mom's cooking. It was so good. I hadn't gone home for so long. Thank you." And we had a great time laughing, and it was a good memory. He was a great friend. Yeah. I should remember to call his wife. I used to call her once in a while, but I haven't done that for a few years. All right. Yeah, I guess they're all sleeping. Ash says, is it true that Aikido is essentially an art that was formed to disarm samurai armed with sword? Also, what do you think of Steven Seagal? Well, Aikido was not devised to disarm samurais because it would be quite stupid to go in front of a real samurai and try to Aikido him down. In Aikido, we also had sword training with the wooden sword, of course, but it was it was a different training. It wasn't physical sword training. We were using sword to learn how to extend extend energy through the sword. So, in other words, it would give us an opportunity in training to be able to bring alive the wood that once was alive and part of the tree and had energy running through it. So, we would learn how to become one, have the staff or the sword become extension of our arm. So when we would extend energy through our fingertips, it would continue through the staff or the sword and extend from the tip of the sword outwardly. And that's where the power was for the movements and for extraordinary powers that the sword would wield other than its own blade and its own weight and its own movement. So Aikido, the style that we were training, Shinshin Toitsu Aikido, was all about all about energy, and all the techniques were all about leading the minds of the opponents and leading your own body with first energy, not from muscle. So that's why we have this exercise that I've shown all of you, which I'm going to put it up for you guys for a second to understand what I mean. Here it is. I'll be right back. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing. Again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.
So it's all about energy and to learn about the flow of the energy of the universe, which moves from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe in all directions, right, left, front, and back, and all in between, up and down. So its purpose was to teach us to become one with the nature's power. As we come from the nature, so we would be able to lean back or coordinate back into the nature and become one with it. And that's what was one of the exercises based on that. In regards to Steven Seagal is great in what he does. And I always enjoyed his movies, and he's very good at what he does. He studied Aikido, a different style. Aikikai is what he did from Ueshiba Sensei, who was the founder of Aikido, and then Toi Sensei was one of the chief instructors of Ueshiba Sensei. When he died, he separated. He opened his own dojo, and the main difference is that Shinshin Toitsu Aikido, they teach us the power of ki. In the language of Star Wars, is the Force from the beginning, from day one. In Aikikai, the way I understand it, they hope that the student will learn that in years of training on its own, be able to understand that concept. Otherwise, Ueshiba Sensei was great master, most powerful, and so he taught all the other students, including. I remember Mariyama Sensei came to our school for a demonstration, and he was, I think, at the time, 9th dan black belt. He was second after Toi Sensei in Shinshin Toitsu Aikido. And he was limping a little bit because somehow he had some accident that some glass cut his, I don't know, somehow one of his tendons in the back of his leg. Very light limp, very light limp. But this man was powerful like you've never seen. In one of the gatherings after his teaching, he sat down and he said, everybody gather around. He just crossed his leg and to everyone, and that was my turn there. He says, put your hand underneath my knee. Like when he was crossing his leg like that, like these are his legs. And he said, put your hand underneath my knee. That was his knee, not our knee. So I put my hand under his knee and he says, see the difference. Now I'm going to be thinking up. So when he was thinking up, I could feel my hand is being sucked in to his knee, like pulling it, like I could feel it. And he said, now see the difference, I think down. When he was thinking at his one point, which is about 10, 20 centimeters below the navel, Jesus, I was feeling like this, these irons, steam irons, when the steam comes out, when you want to iron something, it seemed like the steam coming out of his knee. It was very powerful, very clear to feel it. And of course, I was white belt then, and seeing that was proving to us that it's something real. And then I was very skeptical, so I tried things, and then I had to have people try again and so on, and I could really see this thing is real. So I did my thing, and through the years I became as good as I wanted or could have, or at least tried, and I enjoyed learning things, and it was quite interesting. It's still my life. It's like I govern my life by Aikido and nature's power and those beliefs since 19 years old, 20 years old. Let's see. And yeah, Steven Seagal, I think he was somehow lived in Japan and he learned it thoroughly. He was very good at it. And his movies are awesome. Of course, not the movies are, later movies are just, low budget, but the ones that he was doing, like the Under Siege and Hard to Kill and things like that, was just amazing movies. I've seen them so many times. Ash says, I used the G8 semi-auto in Army cadets. G8? I don't know G8. Is it a British or is it also German? We had a G3. Now, compliments of my son, he knew the story of the G3 and my Army time. He went and bought me a G36, I think it is. It's a new German model of that same company that we trained in the army, and he just surprised the hell out of me. It was such an interesting. And so we went shooting range, and I zeroed in. It's still not zeroed completely, but I love to try again and bring it to zero, a good zero, like zero it properly. It's much lighter than G3, and G3 was automatic and semi-automatic. This one is just semi. And the government here doesn't allow us to have a magazine more than 5 bullets in it. So it's so fucked up here. It's so fucked up here. So if you have a magazine that holds more than 5, it's illegal. Jesus. What can I say? Yeah, and it says my dumbass cousin, close one eye at the time, so they put a beret over one half of my face. What? Says can't be too different to G3. My dumbass what? Cousin, is it? Okay, I don't know that word. Says RIP to your friend. Yeah, thank you very much, Ash. He was a funny guy. He was a funny guy. We loved him. Ash says, yeah, in the broken sword, yeah. Or you mean a kendo stick? No, we didn't work with kendo. It was bow and bouquin, and it was the actual, and then we have the staff, bow, and then we had the sword, and then Ashes, I did kenjutsu as a kid, which is mainly a sword fighting art. Ah, cool. And Ash says, what is that magic you're doing in the video with the guy trying to lift you? Did you channel all your energy into your nut sack or something? I'm pretty close. Not that low, but as I mentioned, it's a hypothetical point at about 20 centimeters below the navel, I don't know, 5 inches below the navel, something like that. And it's where I say that the energy that travels from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe, and it travels from all directions, front and back and left and right and all in between and up and down and all in between. So the universal, if you imagine it a globe, it just travels from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe. These energies are constantly in movement. And the part that they meet, all joined together at one specific part, that's your one point that you imagine it in the lower abdomen. So just about a few inches lower the abdomen, lower the navel. So in that very one point, where they're all joined, you imagine that one point to be the smaller and smaller and smaller, very, very small point that all these flow of the energy are flowing in. They're just crossing together and they're just disappearing, all the energy going in there. So that's the point when they all join. That's the point you focus on, and you imagine all the energy of the universe condensing around you and the universe become one. Condensing, all become infinitely small point, few inches lower the abdomen, and continuously condenses. Half. You can see it, you can visualize that point getting smaller and smaller, and the flow of the universal energy pouring into that very, very small point. You can see the flow into that very, very small point. The flow of all the energy lines getting together at that one point and pouring into that point. And you focus on that small point, very, very small point, infinitely small, continuously condensing. So it's kind of smaller than an atom, hard to see it, but it's there. To the point that you can't see it getting any smaller, but you know it's there, so you feel it getting smaller. that's the time that you become one with the energy of the universe and nobody can lift you up. You don't do anything physical. It's all mental, becoming coordinated with the universe. And that's part of the meditation, that you can actually condense to that level and then relax and let it expand. Opposite direction. Expand bigger, 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 bigger to the ends of the universe, and expand as far as you can in all directions until you cannot think of it getting any bigger, expand any further. At that point, relax, do nothing. Enjoy the automatic expansion of the universe, as it will do automatically, because it's continuously, infinitely expands. Even if you can't see it and imagine it expanding any further, but it does. And then eventually you condense it, bring it toward yourself, and the whole universe condenses around you, around Earth, around you, around this room, around yourself, and smaller to the 1 point, half, 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 and again becomes infinitely small at the 1 point, and continuously gets smaller. And that's how you relax and become one with the nature, one with the universe. And at that point, there would be no you, no universe, all just it. It's all the same, just one small point of energy. The whole universe condenses into that 1 point and further condenses. That's how you become invisible, pretty much, because you're somewhere else. And at that moment, you don't see anything else and nothing matters. You come out very refreshed. Anyhow, I used to do that in Caspian Sea when I would be there. Like, I remember I traveled with my mom once, and we were at the villa that my dad had there. We had there, and it was right back to the mountain, Green Mountain, and the front was orange fields of my dad, and then in front, 2 kilometers away, you could see from the villa's porch, you could see the ocean. So I would get the car at 4:30 in the morning. I would go park the car close to the ocean, and then have my Aikido clothes on. There was nobody there. It was dark. It was not, the sun hadn't come out. It was dark, pitch dark. And I would just sit in front of the ocean on the sand, and I'd close my eyes and start meditating. Half an hour later, when I would finish meditating, open my eyes, whether it was breathing exercise or concentration meditation, when I would open my eyes, it was like I entered a different world. Why? Because when I closed my eyes, it was dark. When I opened my eyes, sun was just coming out. It was just like time. I didn't notice the time that it took from darkness to light. It just changed. It was like a jump in the quantum. It was an amazing feeling. It was like I came from a different part in the universe. That's the beauty of it when you do that meditation, when it's dark and you don't see it when it becomes light, but when you open your eyes, it's light, or vice versa. You start meditating, just the sunset is still there. And when you close your eyes and when you open half an hour later, it's all dark. It's a beautiful feeling. Anyhow, let's don't get so emotionally romantic. And Miyamoto is there, says, hi, hello, Miyamoto. And he says, I was seeing stories of people with HOCD. They were telling this disorder will stay with you. But why the fuck do you keep listening to this and that and this and that? People, these people. Who are these people that suddenly they become your guru? People can say any shit they want to say. Stop thinking about what they say. Focus on what Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Phillipson, Dr. Jan Rayner says, what the videos talk about. Stop confusing the fuck out of yourself. No. No, if you actually learn, those are the people who don't know fuck all about this thing. When you learn the knowledge about how the brain works and its malfunctions, then you're not worried about these things. It's like saying, once you get a wind in your tummy, you will fart for the rest of your life. No, you'll fart whenever you have a fart, but you know how to fart. You fart it out, that's it. You go on. When you get a cold, you may get cold few times, but you know what it is, you know how to deal with it, and therefore there is no freaking out. You just rest it out now. Now, another glitch for a different organ is the OCD glitch. It's a disorder. But once you educate yourself and know what it is, how to handle it, how to reprogram, how to rewire, what components are malfunctioning, how to help them to get back to the default setting, then it doesn't scare you, because every brain has malfunction and intrusive thoughts. Every single brain. The reason they don't notice it that so long is because the caudate nucleus and their system shuts it down. But in OCD people, it needs help to get back to its programming to shut it down. And if it doesn't, you know exactly how to help it to move on with your daily things by the 4 steps and other techniques that you've learned. So therefore, it doesn't matter if it comes back, it doesn't come back. You're prepared. And that education and that knowledge is what you should be focusing on. Otherwise, many things like cold or diarrhea or whatever else that could go wrong in a human body can also go wrong or repeat itself once in a while, or few times a day, doesn't matter. But since you know how to deal with it, then it's not about that it's staying with you with life. It just means you know how to deal with it for life. And so doesn't cold stay with you for life, but you know how to deal with it. Diarrhea, you can get it so many times during your lifetime. So what does that mean? That means you're diarrhea? No, that means it happens. The glitch happens to any organ. And then the key is how to deal with it. Like you think the people who say this, they don't get OCD? They all have it. Intrusive thought, everybody has it. Are you kidding me? So stop listening to these bullshits. Yeah, it doesn't matter, Miyamoto. Don't cry about it. This is a disorder. So what? What do you think diarrhea is? It's a disorder. What do you have to do? Oh, I got diarrhea. I was perfect without diarrhea, but now I have to. Okay, you heal it and that's it. And you're perfect. Know how to deal with it. That's a perfection. Otherwise, everybody gets diarrhea. Everybody gets intrusive thought. Everybody gets OCD. Everybody gets thought of HOCD and all that. So but the difference is some of us learn how to deal with it. So the others don't, and they don't fucking know what they're talking about. All right. Yeah, don't be scared, Miyamoto. Nothing is changing you. Disorder, misorder, who gives a shit? Just learn the knowledge. Yeah, you have a chance to wisen up yourself and become more knowledgeable about the human psyche. That's usually people who are getting OCD or OCD subset are more intelligent than most other people. That's the general understanding of it through the scientific research on that. And then after OCD, like once you learn how to deal with it, you become a stronger, wiser, more confident man than ever. So check that out. Stephen is here. Says, hi, Miran. Hello, Stephen. Male 42 Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Stephen says, walking my dogs. Yeah, it's your day off, isn't it? Night off. He says, and just listening in no questions tonight. Well, I got your email and I somehow looked at it, read it, and I was going to say, okay, I'm going to respond. But somehow one thing to the next today, I guess I started eating or watching something and I forgot. So I'll probably do it maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I'm not too sleepy tonight. And Miyamoto, stop that bullshit that you're saying, okay? Again, you're seeking for assurance. You don't need assurance. You just got to know whatever you heard, that is bullshit. It just means you get to know how to help your brain for life, because everybody gets that. They may not say it, but they have it. They get it. Intrusive thoughts is for every brain, because the human psyche in everybody is the same shit. It's not like somebody else's brain is differently put together. It's all the same shit. It's a work in progress. So don't buy into that nonsense that you heard. Chinmay says, hello, Mehran sir. Good day to you. Thank you there. Says, basically, due to the previous relationship that compelled me to stay out of moral obligation despite desperately desiring a breakup, I developed anxiety and OCD. Well, listen, what moral obligation? You don't like the girl and you're not married, say bye-bye. What's I don't understand. What moral obligation? You have no moral obligation when you have not misused her or abused her or, you know, married her. Now you want to run off. No. You guys got together and wanted to know if it works out and you don't like it, then next. And actually you do her a favor, because she would be able to maybe to find a man who would love her, and it would be his choice to have this kind of a woman. And if you don't like her as much, therefore you're freeing her to find what she deserves, rather than someone like you who doesn't really want to be with her but kind of out of moral obligations. That's not going to be a good life. Yeah, I just traveled in life. I'm back now. Yeah. Chinmay, have face-to-face interaction with girls, and you don't need to chit-chat online with anybody. So find it through association and so on. And stop worrying about what your brain suggests, and just live your life with your vetoes and choices, and nothing can interfere with that. All right, good. If that's what you wanted to do, Chinmay, that's fine. All right. Yeah, good. That social media thing, a waste of time. That Facebook and staying on that, it serves no purpose. Just really pretty much takes us away from the reality of life. Some things you got to do for business, like YouTube for business, like I do, or TikTok channels that is like political, or you talk about your business and your philosophy. These are fine, but interacting on social media just for the sake of interaction, being in contact is one thing, but it really doesn't serve any purpose. It was just novel at one point. I haven't used it for a long time. Just I use the messenger. That's it, pretty much. I'm not on my Facebook anymore. Hardly, if I see some message or whatnot. Yeah. Miyamoto, you keep repeating the same thing. You're looking for assurance for me to say, no, it's not. I explained to you that you're giving it a label and a false label for life. Just stop that. Just learn and educate yourself and become an expert how to help yourself and how to help others. Simple. Don't buy into the bullshit that keep putting that label for life. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Miyamoto, you're not listening. It's not about will my brain stop sending these thoughts. It's about let the brain do whatever the shit it wants to do. You live by your vetoes and choices. The brain cannot change you. Brain is not your boss. You're the brain's boss. Your awareness, you're on top of the brain. Brain is an organ. It can suggest whatever it wants to suggest. You help it to rewire itself by the techniques that Dr. Schwartz and other experts have talked about. That's what you're supposed to do, not to hope and pray that the brain will stop these thoughts. It doesn't matter if the brain stops these thoughts or not. We've talked about why the brain goes malfunctioning. We talked about the role of the liver, the caudate nucleus, in the striatum, in midbrain basal ganglia. We talked about overactiveness of amygdala. We talked about all these scientific versions and things about it. So stop thinking that this, you got to hope that the brain will favor you by blessing you and not bringing these intrusive thoughts. It's a brain. It's a fucked up brain. It malfunctions. It's in everybody like that. You got to help the brain to rewire itself and retrain it to learn how to disregard these sort of intrusive thoughts that are not in line with your values. When you recognize them, how to recognize them, and then refocus and move on with your life until eventually this mechanism works automatically and you don't even have to do it and notice it. It just quickly does it as the intrusive thought of any sort an OCD shows up. But you got to work on it and retrain it. That's up to you. You're the boss of the brain. You're the owner of the brain. It's going haywire. You got to retrain it. And it's up to you to train it because you're the master, not the brain. You're the master of the entity that you are, including the brain. Brain is not your master. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're above the brain. You judge the brain. You train the brain. Capiche? All right. Chinmay says, thank you, Mira. So you're quite welcome. Wall Street God says, 20-year-old from France. Bonjour, monsieur. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Says, I am having HOCD thoughts whenever I see a man with my friend or random people. Yeah, that's textbook HOCD. It hurts because it gives heavy anxiety. Yeah, it does because it's totally a contradiction between your values and what the brain suggests as an intrusive thought, and the intrusive thought creates a certain kind of a reaction. Amygdala overacts. It's trying to protect you, what you prefer, your lifestyle, your heterosexuality, and whatever attacks what's most important to you, which is identity. You rise to protect it, and the amygdala becomes overactive. The anxiety comes in, fight and flight goes in, and then you start following the brain's intrusive thought. Instead, you got to learn the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz and learn how to recognize the intrusive thoughts and how to relabel it, reframe it, refocus it, and revalue it. And after a while, these 4 steps takes away automatically without you even interfere. And so as they show up, just like before, when caudate nucleus was working properly, intrusive thoughts shows up, boom. You see, oh, that's nasty. And then it's gone. In OCD people, OCD brains like ours, the time that it takes for you to forget an intrusive thought is longer than the brain that is not an OCD brain, because in those brains, when the intrusive thought shows up, you notice it, you react to it as subtly as you can, and then the automatic features of your brain takes over, and then the memory in this case is very short causes it to close that experience, and then you don't remember it anymore. And if you notice in OCD brains, when you encounter an intrusive thought and it lingers rather than quickly disappearing, that's why it bothers you. Otherwise, everybody gets intrusive thought, but everybody quickly forgets about it because the mechanism in there shuts it down and you go on. But in our brains, it takes longer to forget about. But once the time passes, you don't even remember why you were upset, because now you suddenly remember, oh, I forgot about it. And I was just great, fine, no problem. But now I remember it again. This remembering that you need assurances because of the malfunction of the caudate nucleus, and you want to have a conclusion, and all these things interfere, plus the fact that it takes longer for you to forget an intrusive thought. And that's all helps out hand in hand and makes you become more intuitive about what is it, why is it here, why is it lingering? And then you think it means something because it's not disappearing. They're not disappearing because of malfunction in the signaling system of the brain is not shutting it down as it was designed to shut it down. And that's not an evidence because it's hovering around, it's not disappearing. It's not an evidence that, oh, it's got a truth to it. That's about you. No, it's just not disappearing because there's a malfunction in the signaling system to shut it down. All right. And Wall Street God from France, that was for you. Hope you heard it. There's also a video on false attraction. Just put attraction or false, one of the words, and you'll see how many comes out, and you can watch those. And stop this business of makes it harder, whatever. It's not about hardness. It's about a glitch, a malfunction. You got to learn how to rewire it. Stop labeling it. Oh, it's hard, makes it difficult. Now I have this. Just relax. These are all part of the HOCD, and you learn the process of it, and you start rewiring your brain, and it will be done just like millions and millions of other people. It's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing changing in you. That's how what OCD and OCD subsets behave. So learn how to deal with it and become the master of it and help others. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. Let the anxiety come and it will go. But if you pay attention to it, you become worried about it. Now you have anxiety and worry. So, and when you are worried about it, then let the worry come. It doesn't end up doing anything. Worry by itself cannot create something. You're just worried because of the intrusive thought. And then the worry, if you worry about the worry, that what it is, what can I do? Then anxiety comes with it. Now you have the worry and anxiety. So let them just be, don't pay so much attention to it. Just say, okay, I feel worrying now. Or you feel anxious, say, I feel anxious now. Or I feel anxiety now. That's relabeling because you felt it and you interpret it. I feel anxiety now. I'm feeling anxiety now. So you relabeled what you were feeling. Then you reframe it. Is there something wrong? Or am I feeling something wrong? Is there something wrong? Or am I feeling there is something wrong? Now you explain to yourself that I'm feeling something wrong. There may not be anything wrong. There may be something wrong, but it's not what you think is wrong, something else. But it's all creates that kind of a question in your mind. So relabeled, reframed, and now refocused. As soon as you realize and interpreted it, and it's not a mystery for you, you just dissected it for yourself, explained it, interpreted it for yourself, and then you ask the question, is there something wrong? Well, I'm feeling something wrong. Now you've become aware that this is a feeling, this is intrusive thought, and now you refocus from this position to something positive, like pouring some tea for yourself, or listening to music, or taking a walk outside, or looking at the scenery out there, or play some music, or something simple and positive. So you refocus now. And when you do all these three steps, relabel, reframe, refocus, you revalue in your brain and it doesn't have that power anymore. And you keep doing that every time the intrusive thought shows up. Pretty soon, all these 3 and 4 steps done automatically before and without you actually going through the steps. That's how you rewire your brain because of the, in regards to OCD. You rewire your brain. So, no, you won't lose that, Miyamoto. Don't be afraid of losing. That's again your mind, your brain is playing with you. Okay, I guess maybe someday you need to make an appointment with me and we'll discuss this thoroughly, because this here is just back and forth. It can't be just spending all on that. All right, good. Now I have a video that I've explained the 4 steps. All you have to do is just key in 4 steps in the search engine of my channel, like 4 steps, and it gives you Dr. Schwartz. There are 4 of them, one 7 minutes, one 8 minutes, part 2, one 5 minutes, part 3, and then last one. So I'm going to give you the 4 parts all together. It's 21 minutes, explains precisely what to do in 4 steps, and explains it as Dr. Schwartz have put it in his videos, and I have used that to explain it. Here it is, the link for you, and you can learn how to deal with your OCD and rewire your brain. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 29 minutes, and surprisingly enough, we started with nobody, and then we ended up with lots of questions. So this is the time I say, please don't forget to promote the videos and promote the channel in your social medias, wherever you can, Reddit or chat lines and whatnot. Help the channel to reach more people and help more people. I look forward to our next live stream, and I thank you very much for being here. I love you all, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Again, I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.